with deep appreciation to Martin G. Englisher for his communal leadership, his generous support, and his inspiring personal advocacy for UJA Federation's Jewish Day Camp initiative at the Henry Kaufman Campgrounds, July 2022.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here, all of you. Many of you are here for the good of the whole campgrounds and for everything that's been accomplished here. Some of you are here specifically for me, and I'm very grateful. I'm a humble kind of guy. I come from parents who didn't like things like recognition and naming, and so it's hard for me to do this. But I'm going to do it because it's really important. I will say, I want to start off by saying that the decision to do this came after a conversation, after dozens of conversations with Vicki Compter about how we were going to raise money for here. Somehow Vicki's magic touched my heart and made me feel that, you know what, everyone else is doing it, why can't I? And so I say to you, Eric threw out the numbers. Yeah, I was here in 1961 as a 5-year-old, and I've now told for the 100th time, and I won't tell it after today, that I was promised in 1961 when I burnt my feet on the locker room floor that there was going to be a new pool next summer and a new campground. So I guess we do lie to children, but sometimes. So I waited, and I'm a patient guy. I think that's maybe why I stayed so long. I've been waiting. But I'll tell you, I spent years as a camper, a counselor, and then I went back to the management of the Y, ultimately becoming the CEO of the Y. And I want to just tell you what inspired me to do 12 Trails was the result of UJA Federation likes to do a lot of studies. And every other year they come up with a new consultant to do a study. And they did a study, and the study results were presented to us. And it said that camp quality wasn't good, and it wasn't very Jewish. And I somehow objected a little bit to it, and I thought, how are we going to get the message out that we are quality and we are Jewish, and we could be smarter and be regional? And that's how 12 Trails was born. The idea of regionalization, economies of scale, infusion of Jewish values, and quality. And it's not easy. There's a labor shortage, it's hard to find people, it's summer help, and we pulled that off. And what you see today when you tour, you're going to see that we hit them all. So maybe all those studies ultimately are worthy of something. If nothing else, they joggle the mind to be creative and to prove what we do. I want to get personal for a moment, and I know I was leaving it very short, and I'll keep it short. My parents had a store, and they were not. People thought people who owned stores had money. My parents were poor. And my going to camp, my first summer was in August because my parents couldn't afford the whole summer. But they didn't know that when you come in August, all the friends got made in July. So it was a little difficult, and I found a way to pull that off and managed to get through it. But in that first half of that summer, they sent me to a public school day camp. My memory of the public school day camp was crayons, nothing beyond that. And they gave us paper and they told us to draw. I came to Pearl River and I came here, and the beginning of the journey was everything you've heard. You know, socialization, skill building, learning how to play ball, learning how to swim, learning to have friends, going in a corner under a tree on a hot day and being with people and bonding. I remember being bad, and I'm not going to share what I did that was bad, but I remember something I regret that was bad. But there was a wonderful leader in my agency who was actually part of the kinder transport of bringing children from Germany, and she taught us that children being bad was good, and that good kids needed a little more attention, that it was the bad that was really okay for us to work with. And I guess all the social workers in the room will appreciate and agree that element of letting children be children on places like this and grow and develop is why we're here and what we're doing. So I say to you all that what we needed, what we've always done programmatically, which all you need is a tree, is you do need the children deserve places like this and places to play ball and places that are much more fitting of a UJA Federation Network facility. So I thank you to all the people who were part of making that happen, because that was my thing for years and years. I'm always big about what things look like, and I think it matters. I teach a course at Columbia, and I teach my students, invest in the infrastructure, invest in the people, and that's what we did here. We invested. And as my wonderful donor and friend, Gail Binderman, taught me, that she invests in the Y because she gets back benefit. And I use your investment line all the time in class, Gail, because it feels so right that you chose to invest in us, and the dividends you got were even greater than you thought you would get. And I live to prove that out every day in what we do in the Y. I do want to say that 12 Trails, as Martine said, is a consortium of the Riverdale Y and the Shames JCC. My colleagues Adam Weiss and Deanne Foreman are here with me, and I thank them both. This journey began with predecessors of theirs, but they've championed along with me over these years. Vicki asked me to say, so I'm going to do it, why I dedicated this. I dedicated this because I also want people with capacity, other people with capacity, to think about how they could do this. You know, we all can somehow manage. Many people can manage, and at the same time being philanthropic and charitable and thinking of those in need. We're living in a time right now where children who just got over COVID need us, and they need our facilities, and they need our programs more than ever. Their time in front of screens has ruined 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds who don't know how to share. They don't know how, because they were told not to touch and not to this, not to that. Will those be healthy 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 12-year-olds? And so I ask you, whether it's yourselves, you know, I'm preaching to the choir here, you guys have contributed, many of you, to look for and find other people to make a difference in the world for the people who need it. The people that are here at this camp are the me of 1961. They're not rich. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. Inflation's 10%. We need to help people, and we need to not have people feel that if they ask for a scholarship that they're taking a handout. My mother thought she would be taking a handout so she wouldn't ask. She paid it out over, I found this out as an adult, she paid it out over months and months, but she paid every penny. And I appreciate her values, and I appreciate that she didn't want to be someone receiving, but she deserved to receive. And we need to help people to understand it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay and we should give that help, because that's what we are about. The UJA Federation Network is about finding people in need and reaching them and helping them and not having them feel like they're beggars or that they're people of less means or value. We value everybody, no matter where they are economically, socially, ethnically, religiously. That's what we're about. So I went over my time, but I'm just going to say I want to thank Eric for his, where's Eric? Where did I lose Eric again? I want to thank Eric. He's the exec that made the decision to do this, and from the bottom of my heart, boy, you know, you've done something I've waited for a very long time. I want to thank Marcia Cohn, my board president, who's here with me, and for all of her support and leadership at the Y, and her dad, Herb, who's my buddy. And the other board members that are here, not naming everyone. And lastly, I just want to say the executive team of the Y, you met Martine Yaffe, Michael from English, Vicki Nesnansky, Steve Chinelli. Those are all the people that support me every day, and it's what makes this wonderful. And I thank you all for being here, and I hope, you know, my words will inspire some others. But I'm humbled to be able to be standing here. My grandfather made $2 a week painting houses in 1930. If he would only know. So, thank you all.